Welcome back to Wake Up America Weekend. President Trump is holding off on more attacks in Iran, but he's letting the regime know that if need be, the U.S. is locked and loaded at a moment's notice. We're going to head live to Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where we have Middle East correspondent Jody Cohen. We're live with the latest this morning. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning. President Trump posted on Truth Social that he has cancelled a planned major attack at the request of Iran, he said, and other Middle East countries, which has been denied by the Iranian regime. The president said the perimeters of a deal have been agreed to, that the deal must be made rapidly and involve the complete opening of the Strait of Hormuz and ends to Iran's nuclear threat. Trump added that Israel joins him in this commitment, indicating that Israel had been poised to join in strikes. And according to reports, Israel has raised alert levels. Amid the Iran tensions, U.S. embassies in the region have urged citizens to leave or be ready to leave and prepared for flight cancellations. Meanwhile, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi listed the countries Iran would strike if the U.S. hits Iran's civilian infrastructure. These include Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and possibly Oman. Speaking at Camp David on Friday, Trump warned that Iran has been dishonorable to deal with.
And Iran is doing very poorly. Just in case you read incorrect stories, they're doing very, very poorly. They're having a hard time. They've been very dishonest. They've been very dishonorable to deal with. But that makes no difference. They're doing very, very poorly.
And President Trump suggested that if a deal is not made rapidly, the U.S. remains locked and loaded. Back to you.
Hey, Jody, so President Trump suggested, he called off this latest strike at the request of Iran and Middle East countries. What more do we know about this?
So Iran has actually denied that the requests came from them. But in Saudi media reports, and this is state media, of course, they have said that they Saudi Arabia conveyed to President Trump that they want to avoid widening the conflict. And in the past week alone, we've seen Saudi Arabia strike Iranian proxies in Iraq and in Yemen. And they're reportedly concerned about direct Iranian strikes on their energy infrastructure in particular. But President Trump has said that the U.S. is ready to go if Iran does not make a deal quickly.
Jody Cohen, live in Tel Aviv. Jody, thank you.
Yeah, for more, let's welcome in the former Undersecretary of Defense and former Secretary of Veteran Affairs, Secretary Robert Wilkie. Also providing insight is former Trump foreign policy advisor Walid Phares. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Secretary Wilkie, I want to start with you. The president not holding back on Truth Social. He said, quote, the USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. Obviously, a very bold statement there. He's putting the Middle East on notice while trying to get the Strait of Hormuz fully open. What do you make of his Truth Social post there?
Well, what I make of it is that we are still engaged in a tit for tat with the Islamic Republic. We are more in a reactive mode than we are in control of events. And I don't know why a deal would work now when it hasn't been working since these fights began. There's nothing that can be trusted from this regime, and I think the president should demand more from nations like Saudi Arabia, because in the end, the demise of the Islamic Republic means it's a much safer and quieter Middle East. I mean, they are the font of all the problems in the region and have been since 1979.
So, Walid, this just seems like a back and forth. We've seen this story before. We threatened to, unleash a big bombing. Then Iran says, no, we'll come to the table. And despite hopes for peace, the Pentagon is playing it safe right now. U.S. embassies in a dozen capitals across the Middle East are telling people to, quote, be careful of unforeseen escalation, be ready to leave at a moment's notice. Is this a situation of playing it safe, or is something finally bigger going to come here?
there is something transitional happening so that the bigger matter would happen and could happen. The regime is using the weapons of the messages, meaning every time we are preparing a wave or two waves or moving forward, the magic phone call or email or text, I don't know, will come and say, we are ready. First question, we are ready for what? We have a deal. You have signed that deal. What is it that you want to do? Like change the deal? That would be a weakness if we accept the change to the deal. So here are two ideas. Idea number one, we're going to change the environment of it. Let the Pentagon negotiate. Psychologically, this would be a massive message to the regime, meaning we have a deal. The diplomats have done everything they could, the invoice, etc. Now the only deal you're going to have is how you're going to execute the deal that you have signed. And second, a very important possibility that we will tell the Islamic regime in Iran that now there are spots inside Iran that you cannot operate. We've done it in many other places. And if you operate, we'll strike you regardless of the deal. That will give the Iranian people spaces and spots to start working. It's like during the first Gulf War when we created a no-fly zone. In fact, it was a no Ba'athist zone, no Saddam zone. We need to do something new to encourage the Iranian people to start. And we need to do something new so that the regime there will perceive us as serious, strategic, and willing to take action.
Yeah, the foreign minister to Iran sending a message to the U.S. military saying to expect a, quote, decisive response if there is any U.S. or Israeli military action in the region. I mean, Secretary Wilkie, you even said we can't negotiate with this regime or they can't be trusted. So how does the U.S. get out of this, and how should they react to that statement?
Well, you react to that statement by, one, saying that these are the words of perpetual bullies, and you increase the blockade, you increase the economic pressure on the regime, and you are prepared to launch that massive strike. And I actually agree with Walid. We've done this before. We certainly did it in Iraq. We could tell the regime that there are places in their country they can no longer go. We start supplying those forces within Iran that need weapons to oppose the regime, and start making the Iranians think about threats on multiple fronts, and not, as I said at the beginning, engage in this tit for tat. Every time they send out a message, we respond. We're the great power. We don't do these things. We dictate the pace of events, and we can't be beholden to what the Islamic Republic says on a day-to-day basis.
Well, it kind of looks like we're being played with right now. Hopefully things resolve shortly. All right, Secretary Robert Wilkie and Walid Phares, thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you.